Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with the Needone 48-liter Thermoelectric Humidor, and you're watching Cigars Daily. Get more out of this in all our videos when you watch them on Cigars Daily Plus. Dive right in. I've done a number of these Thermoelectric Humidor reviews on the channel, and there are a lot of them out there today, and truly, they're quite different from each other. Features and functionality, even quality, is a major factor when it comes to these things right here. Now, I've done a couple of these Needones before, and so this one I want to take a good look inside. I want to do it a little bit differently today. Normally in my reviews, we talk through how you season these things. I've talked that issue to death. You can watch any of my videos on reviews on thermoelectric humidors to see how these are done. They're a little different than a wooden desktop humidor, but the thing that I like about Thermoelectric is that they're simpler. Like, it's basically or almost a set it and forget it type humidor. Unlike a condenser motor in like a humidor cabinet or small refrigerator like this, the motor doesn't actually remove the air from the unit to cool it down. A condenser will actually pull air out, push new air in, and you can lose humidity that way. The thermoelectric part of these causes it to cool the unit or temperature control it. Some of them have heating functions as well, but it causes it to control the temperature, I guess, in the humidor without actually removing humidity. Now, there are some things to know about that, and that's what I want to take you through today as we look inside this humidor right here, but I want to give you a quick synopsis up front. Needone. It's like the Honda Civic of thermoelectric humidors. If you need a car, you want something that's reliable and good but is not going to break the bank, you go buy a Honda Civic. If you want a good thermoelectric humidor that gets the job done, doesn't come with a ton of bells and whistles but is reliable, that's what Needone has become in my mind. There are certainly some pros and cons to this unit, and that's what I want to take you through today, but I will tell you up front, there are some warnings that come with this unit. I want to read them to you out of the manual. The most important thing you need to know up front is that this appliance is not intended for use by persons, including children with reduced physical, sensory, or mental capabilities, which causes me to wonder if I'm even qualified to review it. It also says not intended for use by people with a lack of experience or knowledge, unless given supervision or instruction concerning the appliance, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you want to consider this your instruction to get into one of these things and see what it's all about, then this is it. So with no further ado, let's jump right in. Up front, I want to talk about some of the pros, because there are a lot of them with this thing, and quite frankly, they outweigh the cons that come with this thing. But the first thing and most important is what I mentioned, and that's affordability. As compared with other thermoelectric units on the market, this one comes in below just about everything, or at least it comes in price-wise below everything that you're going to want to actually consider for a thermoelectric humidor. That's something that's basically not a cooler tipped up on its side with a skanky motor in it or something like that. This thing right here is a mass-produced, high-quality machine. And aside from being affordable, it looks really sharp, very clean. It's a big pro for this unit. Here, I've set the thing with the door open, because I want to mention one con very briefly. This unit right here has got a very reflective door on it, and so when you close the door, it's actually kind of hard to see inside the thing. It's a bit of a drawback, but at the same time, very stylish. It's the kind of unit you can put in your house, whether it's like perfect and everything is all white and clean, straight edges, and you make your bed every morning, or you've got piles of laundry everywhere and there's like rusted like metal in your couch cushions or whatever the hell it is. This thing will fit into just about any environment because it's a very clean, very nice unit. And then there are a couple pros that have to do with the construction of this thing. You know, I talk with a lot of people about thermoelectric humidors, and one of the biggest concerns that people have when they're getting these, especially after you read some of the horror stories online, is that they can come with this plasticky smell from the factory that like somehow gets into the humidor and it can really impact your cigars. I've had it happen to me, and I ended up having to get rid of an entire humidor. One huge pro about Needone here is that these things have reliably come to me with none of that plastic smell, and I have not heard from a lot of people that this is an issue with these things, which is a huge pro. You can feel a little bit safer if you order one to like get it delivered to you without that issue. And of course, if you've had like issues or experience with Needone, I'll encourage you. Drop a comment down below and let everybody know what you think about it. At the same time, this has got the added benefit of having real Spanish cedar shelves. This is such a major gripe of mine in the cigar world. So many humidors these days, or the shelves, or the whole damn humidor itself is made out of particle board with Spanish cedar veneer. Not the case with this one. If you're going to be aging cigars in your humidor, a Needone will do a great job, especially with a nice shelf on the top of the unit. And then there are two huge pros for functionality, improvements on previous systems that I reviewed and gripes that I've had before about humidors like this one. And the first one is the hygrometer inside. Now, this thing doesn't come with a spectacular hygrometer. It's a simple digital hygrometer, but the thing is, it works. And a simple, very cheap digital hygrometer will work a lot better than like nicer analog hygrometers. So I really appreciate the upgrade to digital, which a lot of companies are making that upgrade right now. So it's something that I've come to expect in any like thermoelectric humidor that I get. It should have that digital hygrometer, and this one does. Also, while this is not seasoned, and you can see it's sitting at like 60%, I've had this in my office and used it intermittently over the last couple of months. And I gotta say, it's very, very quiet. And that is a huge benefit. If you're keeping a humidor in your bedroom next to your bed on the nightstand so that you can wake up and check the cigars, or you wanna like have them be, you're the first line of defense if there's a home intruder or something like that, then you wanna make sure that the thing is not gonna like turn on and like sound like a Keurig in the middle of the night. And I've certainly reviewed units before that have had some noise issues. So the other added benefit with this one is it's a very, very quiet unit. Now, Needone says that this is going to hold about 300 cigars, which may be true. If you take out all the shelves and you don't put anything in there but cigars and shelves, you probably get 300, maybe even a little bit more than 300. But that brings me into a couple of the drawbacks of this unit, so I want to cover those with you now. So the first drawback is one that I mentioned. This is the first con on my list, and that's that the door is got this like mirrored tint on it that causes it to be really hard to see your cigars, which is like the whole purpose of a door that you can see through. You want to look at your collection. It's why they make glass top, like desktop humidors that have glass in the lid so you can actually see the cigars. They're very beautiful, but this one makes it a little bit harder. And in the same vein, there's a light in the top of this that shines down on the cigars, which is actually a huge pro. However, this is not a light that's functional for the whole unit. As you go down through slotted shelves, and there are 4 of them on this unit, less light reaches each shelf inside. But I have to tell you guys this. That's not exclusive to this humidor right here. There's a lot of them that are like that. There's one light sticking in the top, and it doesn't really do justice to the rest of the cigars on the shelves. And then I'll tell you this. The shelves themselves are a bit of an issue for me. I do really like that they're made out of Spanish cedar. At the same time, there's 2 things about these shelves that have been a frustration for me as I used this in my office for the last few months. The first one is that only the top shelf up here has got like cabinet style, like you can store cigars in it, slide it out, and they're not going to roll off the edge. The rest of the shelves inside this thing are flat trays. They do have a little bit of a nose on the front of the tray to keep cigars from rolling out the door, but if you slide the shelf out with loose singles on there, they're going to roll off the sides. You know, I'm seeing a lot more humidors, thermoelectric these days, come out with walls on their shelves to help contain cigars inside. For a lot of people, there is this idea that you want to store cigars either in the box you got them in, or you're like the guy who's getting samplers and singles and 5-packs and stuff like that, and you don't have a box, and so you do need a shelf where you can put them that they're not going to roll off. With this unit, you have one shelf as an option, and the rest of the shelves seem to be intended to hold boxes. The big drawback of putting boxes into a humidor like this is that they take up actually quite a bit more space than the cigars. And so if you're looking to store singles, you're going to have some kind of simple tray to put in there, or be willing to not pull the shelves out all the way. And that brings me to my next real issue with this thing. This is probably the most frustrating part of this humidor for me, and it's sliding these shelves out. When you open the door and try to slide the shelves out, they will not slide out unless the door is open like more than halfway. Actually, the edge of the door blocks the shelf sliding action, and that causes the thing to, like, I don't know, just drive me absolutely insane. If you're going to get one of these and install it in your home, just make sure you've got enough space for that door to swing all the way open. If you swing the door open and there's a wall on the other side, the shelves will never ever come out, and then you'll be, cursing your own name forever. And the last drawback on my list isn't a huge drawback when you consider that this is a more economic unit, but it's this. This thing comes with a little plastic dish. It's meant to hold distilled water. And by the way, no other type of water. Don't use water from your sink or anything like that. You want water that doesn't have stuff in it that will grow mold, because this does seal incredibly well. At the same time, a lot of systems are coming out these days that have internal electronic humidification, a whole system built inside so that you can set the temperature with the buttons on the door as well as the humidity. With this system right here, it's a very rudimentary, very basic humidification system. It's a plastic dish where you put water. So the humidity inside is going to sit at what it wants to sit at, which is going to be a little different for everybody, depending on your elevation and temperature and the time of year, what room it's in. I mean, some people will have an issue with these with the humidity being a little bit too high. Other people will have an issue with the humidity being maybe a little bit too low. The good news is that's actually pretty simple to remedy if you use Boveda two-way humidification system or some other packs like that to maintain humidity in these things. That digital hygrometer in the front will also help you keep excellent control over exactly where your cigars are going to sit. So all around, in my opinion, Needone has done a great job once again with this unit of putting out something that's reliable yet still very economic. To me, this is your next step up from a desktop humidor or something made out of acrylic. If your collection is growing and suddenly you find yourself with several humidors sitting around and you're always trying to balance the humidity in one or the other, this thing is going to simplify your entire process, and it does it without breaking the bank. Of course, I want to hear more about this from you guys too, though. If you have used Needone's Thermoelectric Humidors, drop a comment down below and let everybody know what you think of it, because we'll all learn better when we learn together. And of course, check this video out on CigarsDailyPlus.com. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim, signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.